Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So a lot of people believe that the current car market crash that we're experiencing right now in 2024 is a bad thing. I would comfortably argue the opposite. I would comfortably say that the market crash that we're experiencing right now is a very, very good thing. So in today's video, I'm going to highlight the main reasons why I believe it's a good thing. And if you've been on the fence of buying a brand new vehicle, I'm going to highlight the details and the reasons why I believe right now just may be the best time to buy a brand new vehicle. So stick with me. So currently there is just under 3 million brand new vehicles available within the US. Pre-pandemic numbers was just under 4 million as the normal in any given year. The alarming part of this is the growth rate that we have just seen within the last 5, 6, 7 months of that new vehicle inventory. We have skyrocketed that new vehicle inventory because people just are not buying new vehicles right now. Because of that, dealerships as well as vehicle manufacturers at large, they're recognizing this. They're seeing the writing on the wall and they're having to make very drastic decisions right now, meaning they have to discount the crud of their inventory or offer 0% interest rates or 1.9% interest rates or a combination of the two just to move their inventory. Otherwise, what's going to happen? They're just going to have a bunch of vehicles stacking up at their dealership lots, and that doesn't nobody any good, right? They're going to continuously lose a ton of money just by all their vehicles just collecting dust on their dealership lots across the US. They have to discount, and they have to discount in a very drastic way. So right now, it is not uncommon to pay invoice or even below invoice on your vehicle. So when you go into a dealership, you can absolutely just say, hey, let me see invoice on this particular vehicle. And if they don't show it to you, well, that's a dealership you do not want to deal with in the first place. So cut all the riffraff out of it, all the back and forth. Let me talk to my manager. I'll come right back to you. Cut that all that out and just say, hey, let me see the invoice on this vehicle here. And if they bring it to you, say, okay, well, yeah, I want to be right at this, or I want to be just under it a little bit, because technically they can lose just a little bit below invoice and still make money. So keep that in mind. You can absolutely drive the discussion. And unlike during pandemic times, you as the buyer, for the first time in a long time anyway, are able to be choosy. And what I mean by that is you can absolutely pick the exact vehicle you want, the exact color, the exact trim, whether it's a 4Runner TRD Pro, a Tundra TRD Pro, or even a Sequoia TRD Pro. You can actually be choosy now. You can say, hey, I want this one in this color, and well, show me that invoice on it and how close can we get to it. You know, some vehicles, the hard to find trims are still out there, right? And they're still difficult to get. So don't get me wrong, but even on those hard to find trims like the TRD Pros I just mentioned, you can still get discounts on them. Sequoias tend to be a little bit more elusive right now, but Tundra TRD Pro, 4Runner TRD Pro, absolutely. You know, when the Tacomas start hitting, it won't be long until they're discounted too, I assure you. Now, my favorite part of all this is we can now absolutely choose which dealerships we go to, because nearly every dealership is forced to discount the crud of their inventory. So I would encourage each of you to definitely not go to the dealerships that were charging markups during the pandemic, right? So many dealerships, you know, fell victim to the greed, right? And were charging $10,000, $15,000 or more, depending on the vehicle, over MSRP. I just encourage you to remember who they were and do not pay them any business now that times are tough for them and they're having to actually discount vehicles. Remember who tried to take advantage of you and pay them zero business now. So now I like that because, well, we're back to the good old days where your reputation actually matters. Because remember, during the pandemic, you were just a number and you were treated as such. You know, say, well, if you didn't buy this TRD Pro right now, the next guy will definitely buy it. They didn't care about your returning business. They didn't care about taking care of you as a customer. And when I say they didn't care, I say, you know, I would argue most dealerships really fell victim to this. And even though the good dealerships existed during the pandemic, they were often overshadowed by the terrible ones, unfortunately. So the best part is, we're in the driver's seat, right? Like I said, you know, being in the driver's seat gives you so much freedom on the buying process. It can actually make the buying process enjoyable a little bit, right? Because you can go into dealerships, you know, check out their vehicles, you know, ask for that invoice. If they don't show it to you, walk away and go to the next dealership just down the road. You are completely in control now, as it should be, right? Buying a vehicle should be a fun process for you. You shouldn't go in there and just worry that, oh man, if I don't buy this vehicle right now, I'm going to lose my opportunity, right? A lot of dealerships like to make you feel that way, but you can confidently not feel that way right now because, well, people just aren't buying left and right. Dealerships are having to make those drastic measures right now in order to actually move their inventory. And even when you go into a dealership and you make an offer on a vehicle and they say, no way, we can't do that, I guarantee it, within 30 minutes of you leaving that dealership lot, they're going to be blowing up your phone, as they normally do, and especially right now, because they know, well, you're just going to go to the next dealership down the road, and maybe the next dealership after that. There's so many dealerships that just have a million cars sitting on their lots right now. They know that you're not going to have any trouble finding the exact one you want for the price you want to pay. So they're going to continuously follow up with you until, well, ultimately they'll get to the number that you want to pay for it. So all this to say, the goodness in this course correction, right, this whole market correction that we're seeing right now, is we're getting back to the fundamentals of buying a vehicle, right? Making it fun again a little bit, making it enjoyable again, and we're cutting out the riffraff. We're cutting out the greedy dealers, because what are the greedy dealers still going to try to do? The greedy dealers that sucked during the pandemic, they're going to continuously try to push markups or, not give good enough discounts because that greed got the best of them. And they're always going to want to live in those pandemic times, unfortunately, right? Because they were able to just take advantage of people left and right. They're not going to be able to shake that greed. And what's going to happen to them? They're going to fail. We're going to see dealerships continue. We're already seeing it with Vroom, Northwest Motorsports, huge dealerships left and right are starting to fail right now. And well, so be it. If they're not able to, cut their losses early, and get rid of their greed, shame on them. And they deserve to go under because the consumer doesn't want to deal with them anyway. So if you have been on the fence, I would encourage you to get out there. Get out there and at least explore your options a little bit, because you are absolutely in the driver's seat, and just know that throughout the entire process. Don't let any dealership trick you into thinking that, oh, this deal is only going to last for so long, or hey, you better take advantage of this deal today, otherwise it's not going to be here next week or tomorrow, because I guarantee it will be there next week, right? It will be there the next couple of weeks later. Don't let them trick you into making a rush out of things. Patience will be your best friend throughout the process. Like I said, you have the ability to do that. Take your time and just be patient. Now, when it comes to the terrible interest rates that we're seeing on vehicles right now, there really isn't much of an end in sight, right? The Fed is making announcements that we're going to continuously see interest rates for home loans anyway remain above 6% throughout 2025, they're saying now. So even the auto rates are not going to go down all that much, if at all. So that isn't going to change, which means the car dealerships are going to have to take drastic measures in order to move their inventory if they want to stay successful. And like I said, it is the dealerships that did not take advantage of people throughout the pandemic that are going to continuously succeed. Because right now, I bet even they are discounting their vehicles even more than the dealerships that were greedy during the pandemic, even though they probably don't even have to, because they actually cared about developing relationships. They cared about returning customers, right? Those are the dealerships that we want to succeed. So I guess for fun, if you know of a good dealership that you worked with and they didn't deploy greedy tactics during the pandemic, please, I encourage you to throw them into the comment section. Share the love a little bit. Let people know and reward these good dealerships that do exist out there. Unfortunately, they were just overshadowed by the greedy ones. One interesting bit now is a lot of people who haven't been buying vehicles throughout the last year and a half were the same people that either A, overpaid for a vehicle during the pandemic, right? They got milked, they got taken advantage of, or B, they have a vehicle that's maybe a few years old, but it's plenty good and plenty reliable. And they see the prices of the new ones that have seen such a huge MSRP price hike, 36% higher since 2019. They see the new prices of things and they're like, yeah, no thanks. I'm going to stick with my 2014 Toyota Tundra. That's been trusty and reliable, and well, it only cost me $38,000 back in the day. So people are just sticking to what they have, and because of that, well, that is why we're seeing that huge influx of new inventory and used inventory, right? Because even the used inventory isn't selling, because they often even come with a higher interest rate too. And we'll wrap up the video there, guys. I made this video today because so many of you will often reach out to me asking, hey, I'm kind of on the fence with buying a vehicle right now. What should I do? Should I wait a little bit longer? I would argue, because there is no end in sight for these dealerships, patience is definitely your best friend. Right now, we're seeing kind of the ripple effects of tax season, right? People are starting to get their tax returns back, and that kind of helps aid and nudge the vehicle market a little bit with people buying. But that's about to fizzle out here come end of April, right? So I would comfortably say, if you have been on the fence, start looking, start dabbling, start making some phone calls to dealerships. But just remember, the best part of this entire car market crash right now is that you, the consumer, are absolutely in the driver's seat. Don't let any dealership take advantage of you right now. You're in control. So let me know what your thoughts are. As always, guys, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos, and I hope you find some value in it. If you do, I do sincerely, respectfully request that you like and subscribe. It means a lot, and I definitely take note of it. Thanks for watching as always. Till next time.